In the beginning, God created a paradise, a place of unimaginable beauty and tranquility. He called it the Garden of Eden, a sanctuary where every element was in perfect harmony. It was a place of peace and beauty, full of life and wonder, where every flower bloomed in vibrant colors and every creature thrived. And into this paradise, God placed the first man and woman, Adam and Eve, to live and flourish. Adam and Eve were created in God's image, reflecting His glory and perfection. They were innocent and pure, filled with love for their Creator and for each other, their hearts untainted by sin or sorrow. God gave them dominion over all the creatures of the earth, entrusting them with the care and stewardship of His creation. He entrusted them with the care of His creation, a responsibility they embraced with joy and dedication. Adam and Eve lived in perfect harmony with God and with nature, their lives a testament to the beauty of divine order. They had everything they could ever need or want, their every need met by the bountiful garden around them. The sun warmed their skin, the fruit trees provided them with food, and the animals were their companions. Each day a new adventure in paradise. Their days were filled with joy and contentment, their hearts light and their spirits free. They walked with God in the cool of the evening, their hearts overflowing with gratitude for His blessings. Life was good, life was perfect, a reflection of the divine love and care that surrounded them. God created Adam and Eve with something very special: free will. This was not just any ordinary gift, it was a profound and powerful endowment. He gave them the ability to choose, to make decisions on their own, to carve their own paths. This was a gift of immense value, a treasure beyond measure. It allowed them to appreciate the beauty around them, to feel the warmth of the sun, and to marvel at the wonders of creation. It meant that their love for Him was genuine, not forced or programmed. Their prayers and devotion came from the heart, a true expression of their feelings. It meant they could experience the joy of choosing to follow Him, of obeying His commands because they wanted to, not because they had to. This freedom brought them closer to God, creating a bond built on trust and love. God gave Adam and Eve only one rule: you are free to eat from any tree in the garden, a paradise filled with abundance and variety. But you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. This single command was a test of their loyalty and faith. This tree represented a boundary, a line that God had drawn. It was a symbol of the limits of their freedom, a reminder that with great power comes great responsibility. It was a test of their obedience, their trust in His wisdom and love. Would they respect the boundary set by their Creator, or would they be tempted to cross it? He warned them that if they disobeyed, they would surely die. This was not just a physical death, but a spiritual separation from God. But He also gave them the freedom to choose. This freedom was both a blessing and a responsibility, a chance to show their true character and their love for God. One day, a serpent appeared in the garden, slithering silently through the lush greenery. This serpent was cunning and deceitful, with eyes that gleamed with a sinister intelligence. It slithered up to Eve, its movements almost hypnotic, and began to whisper doubts into her heart, sowing seeds of uncertainty. "Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden?" it hissed, its voice dripping with malice. Eve repeated God's command, her voice wavering slightly, but the serpent twisted her words with a sly grin. "You will not surely die," it lied, its tone filled with false assurance. "For God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil," it continued, weaving a web of deceit. The fruit on the tree of the knowledge of good and evil was beautiful to look at, its colors vibrant and enticing. Eve found herself drawn to it, unable to resist its allure. The serpent's words echoed in her mind, creating a storm of conflicting thoughts and emotions. She began to doubt God's goodness, questioning His intentions and the truth of His words. She began to desire the knowledge that the fruit promised, a knowledge that seemed just within her grasp. With a trembling hand, she reached out, plucked the fruit, and took a bite, tasting the forbidden knowledge. Then, she gave some to Adam, and he ate it too, sealing their fate together. In that moment, their eyes were opened, and they realized the gravity of their actions, feeling a profound sense of loss and separation from God. The once beautiful garden now seemed darker, the weight of their disobedience casting a shadow over everything. With heavy hearts, they left the garden, knowing that nothing would ever be the same again. In that moment, everything changed. Adam and Eve's eyes were opened, but not in the way they had imagined. They felt shame for the first time. They realized they were naked, and they hid from God. When God came to walk with them in the garden, they were afraid. They tried to hide their sin, but God knew what they had done. The consequences of their disobedience were swift and severe. The harmony of the garden was shattered. Pain and suffering entered the world. Adam and Eve were banished from the Garden of Eden. They would no longer walk with God in the cool of the evening. They would face hardship and toil, and they would eventually die, just as God had warned them.